Hi, I'm Caitlin Ward, and this is my video presentation of my unit plan for Special Ed 666. So the primary learning skill that I chose was reading comprehension. I have 3 lessons in my unit plan. The first lesson is a literature lesson, which focuses on making connections. That's the objective for the students. The second lesson is a social studies lesson, and the objective for that lesson is for students to be able to compare and contrast. And the third lesson is a science lesson, and the objective for that lesson is for students to be able to sequence events successfully. So in the first lesson, in the literature lesson, students will be reading the chapters 1 and 2 in the book Uglies by Scott Westerfield. After reading the first 2 chapters, the students will be given a double entry journal to complete and fill out. In this double entry journal, they need to make, and these are the visuals that will go along with it that the students will see on the smartboard, text-to-self connections, text-to-text connections, and text-to-world connections. And they'll fill these double entry journals out, and this will be the strategy to help them do that. In order to assess the students, I will be using this rubric. It's on a scale of 4, 4 being the highest and 1 being the lowest, and this is what I'll use to assess them and their double entry journals. Okay. The supporting learning target for my lesson, I chose one student in particular, and the target was for this student to be able to follow and complete multi-step directions during reading comprehension activities in multiple subject areas. This student has a very difficult time focusing and paying attention, so in order to help that, for all 3 lessons, I have checklists for the students. So this is the checklist for the literature lesson, and it goes through each step so the student can follow along to make sure that they are completing everything that they need to complete. Here is the checklist for that target student for the second lesson, which is a social studies lesson, and here are the materials for the social studies lesson and also the rundown. Students will be viewing this PowerPoint on democracy and dictatorships in World War II. They'll be viewing this political cartoon, trying to decide what it means, and then they will go through and take notes in their guided note packets. As they are viewing the PowerPoint, guided note packets have portions of the notes already written there for them, and then it's their job to follow along and fill in the missing information. Once students are done with that, their objective is to be able to successfully compare and contrast, so they will be using the strategy they'll use will be a Venn diagram to compare and contrast democracies and dictatorships. So once they have filled this out, I will then again use a rubric that I created on a scale of 1 to 4, 4 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, grading both their work and participation in the class and also the work they do on this Venn diagram. The third lesson, once again, has a checklist for the target student. Let me just get you the PowerPoint ready for that. Okay. So once again, has a checklist for the target student to help them to focus and follow multiple step directions. They will check off as they complete each one of these tasks, and hopefully it will help them to remain on task and successfully complete what I've asked them to do. The science lesson, the objective once again is sequencing. So the students will first be viewing a PowerPoint all about the scientific method. And once students have viewed the PowerPoint, they will then be given a process organizer, which will help them to sequence. Process organizer helps to sequence things that go in order, so they'll go from here to here to here to here to here to here, and they will have the cutouts of what each part of the scientific method is. They will have to cut each one out and then sequence them within the process organizer. Once again, they will be using the rubric that I created, scale of 1 to 4, 4 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, and this will score them both on how they work throughout the lesson and the work they complete on the actual process organizer itself. So that is pretty much a summary of the unit plan. Each lesson is 1 hour long, total of 3 hours, and that's about it. So thank you.